everyone. Lots of seats still at the front. Don't be shy. Pretty much ready to start. Just let the last couple of people find a spot. Oh, and still they come. Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the final workshop in the Partnerships and Policy track. So if you're interested in how to get strategic with business engagement, you're in the right place. So make yourself comfortable. While you're settling in, if you haven't already navigated the Wi-Fi, it would be great if you could, because we will be doing a Menti in the second half of the programme, and we know that the data's not great in this room. So is there a slide on with the Wi-Fi on it? Yeah. Yeah. So we're not doing the Wi-Fi yet. This will again come up at the end, but this will help you get onto the Wi-Fi. So I'm Shauna Campbell. I'm a knowledge transfer advisor with Innovate UK Business Connect, and I'm one of the conference organising committee. So I'm chairing the session today, but I'm really just doing a bit of facilitation. The session has been conceived and will be delivered by two Michaels. So we've got Michael Kohn from the University of Surrey. We've got Michael Jospeh from Brunel University here at the front, and you'll hear from them in just a second. So just as a little bit of background, both Michaels submitted abstracts independently, but when the conference committee was reviewing these, we identified that there were synergies between these abstracts, and we thought that it might be a great idea to introduce them, and from that, this session was born. So the session is very much one of two halves. So the Michaels each have experience to share with you about how they've developed programmes and services for business engagement within their institutions. So that's the well-rehearsed part. The second part is where we're hoping to get input from you about your ideas, your experiences, and hopefully everyone leaving the room with ideas about how to adapt and evolve customer-centric approaches to business engagement. So my day job is KTP, Knowledge Transfer Partnerships, just had to get that in there. But this sort of activity is absolutely critical to what I do, because we know that a significant proportion of KTPs are not the first interaction between a business and a university. So we really need groundwork to be happening to have that critical mass of business engagement happening. So that's my vested interest. So if we look across what you all do and what I previously did in my old role at the University of Brighton, we know that universities have lots of programmes, lots of services. Some are time-bound, and that's driven by funding. They often have acronyms attached to them, but lots of different ways of doing early-stage work with businesses. Lots of these have been evaluated and they do great things, but I think it's fair to say that there's great variety and also potential to cause confusion and frustration even sometimes in the customer base. So that's really the context for starting this session. We're going to hear, as I said, two examples of how this is being addressed as really a stimulus for discussion. So just as a final point, obviously the discussion is taking place in the context of changing support for engagement, pressures within universities to do more with less, and also the economic pressures impacting business. So it's really with those types of challenges in our head that we want to have the discussion. So I hope you've got lots of energy. I know it's the last session, the last interactive session of the afternoon, but hopefully we'll hear a lot from all of you later on. So with no further ado, I'm going to first introduce Michael Jospeh. So you're going to come up and give us a presentation. So I move on.
Thank you, Shona, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Michael Joseph here. As you already heard, one of the case studies I'm going to highlight from Brunel University, how we have worked with businesses to help them to go for collaborative research and innovation funding. So that is RHYME program, Research, Innovate, and Emerge. So about me, so before I go into the details, so I was lucky to work 15 years in private sector and also in over 25 countries. Had some exposure to fundraising, strategy management, and in university now I manage research innovation partnerships in healthcare and medical technology sector, and also to some academic staff development program and some self promotion there, conceptualize this program. Sorry for that. So with the previous experience. And this is funded part of Hive. So I know all of us receive some support from Hive. So yeah, this is an outcome of that support. And when we planned for this session, we thought good to show the structure of our research innovation department of the university. You see here, so the central capacity within Brunel, and I am, as with other business development managers, so focusing on this particular sector, and then I manage this program with this very small team, and then for this program, I report to our director. So this is, a brief video. I think I just thought afternoon to give a different flavor for everybody. So may I request our colleague there to switch on the video for us, please. Welcome to Brunel University's new program to help businesses. Research, Innovate, Emerge, RHYME is a program started by Brunel University to help businesses to strengthen their abilities for collaborative research and innovation with universities.
We're going to be helping those businesses understand how such a strategy can help them drive growth in their business, help them to develop new products and processes. Long term, we're going to be working with these businesses to help them meet bigger challenges such as net zero, AI and digitisation.
I'd recommend the programme because it's important as individual businesses to be able to learn from each other, understanding what works, what doesn't work, particularly as we're all coming from quite a variety of different backgrounds, different sectors.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend this to other businesses and people such as myself in similar positions with their companies. The information you can get from Brunel about what they can offer and networking with other people outside of your usual circles is extremely valuable, and I don't feel it happens in many other kind of respects.
Businesses benefit by strengthening their abilities for collaborative research and innovation, or to generate data for a new solution they are taking to the market, and also get public funding from UK research innovation ecosystem or other wider actors.
Well, what I learned today was how exciting it is to meet people from different backgrounds, commercial, non-profit, all with really great ideas and doing really good things, and the opportunity to share them together with the support of Brunel University.
To know more about how your organization may benefit from RHYME, or if you like to, we could discuss this further. So as you saw in the video, so there are three main pillars for the program. So the next slide. So there is an element of research. So basically businesses are guided to understand and meet with our experts and also know what facilities are available there. And then also some support for innovation, developing their plan and strategies, also some mentoring with the one or two consultants. And then at the end, we want the businesses to take the solution to the market. So this one is almost like a methodology. So there are four phases, as you see. So the businesses come to Brunel, so 3 visits, so 3 workshops, and then each phase has got specific task. When they go away, they have a homework to do, and we review and give comment feedback. And at the end, we expect them to submit innovative key application, or something of that type of a funding. That is our strategy. So, and 30 hours of support we provide to the businesses in addition to, with including 5 hours of mentoring and coaching. So you see here now, in terms of the numbers. So again, we commissioned an evaluation after 2 years with the 2 cohorts, so around 47 businesses. So from that number, this is the third cohort is also included there, so 75. So in total, they've applied for over 6 million funding, and then they have raised now 2.7 million. And of course, Brunel has got some money. Because we never say that. They have to always work with Brunel in this case, but also lots of publications and media stories. If we just monetize this alone, it would come to a couple of, each article at least £2,000 when it's a rough assessment. So is it a criteria to join the business? Yes. Initially, the very first year we weren't very sure, but we tightened the criteria. So these are, businesses have got at least £100,000 of investment or expenditure, and they have got 2-3 staff, because it's also commitment from the businesses. And then their solution should be at the level of TRL3, Technology Readiness Level 3 and plus. And then, commitment to attend the workshop and do the homework. All of them may not be doing all the homework as we expect them to do. So this is the evaluation survey. We commissioned this with an external agency. So what we learned from this is, overall, the process, the ease of process for the businesses to join and being part of the journey, they found it easy. And there are areas we can improve, as you see here. And also the application form, really, really simple. Just 100-word summary of innovation challenge. And then, your name, contacts, something like that. So that is, has been the overall experience. So this is one case study. I know people were talking about different region. This is Liam works for Sticks Mindfulness based in Hayes, one of the underdeveloped parts of the whole of UK in terms of socioeconomic development. So, his solution is, I will be like a yogi now. Sticks is like handheld device. So if you play the sticks, see some colors, then it's attached to an app. So if it's helping children to improve their mental health, to improve concentration. So if you play this, you see on the screen, nature, birds flying, water flowing. Then pause. Then ask, what did you see? I saw a bird. You get a star. So that is the feedback. But they knew it is working with some friends, family, they tested. They never did a user experience study. With children, it's not easy, we know, ethics of rule and things. So they worked with our psychology experts in Brunel. They got funding from the local innovation partnership of the council system. And then they also joined the RHYME program. They got Innovative UK 2 rounds of funding. They raised now £680,000. There has been challenges with working with this company in particular, I have to say. It was not easy. But they're still talking to us, and we are still talking to them. So, so my academic would say, Michael, how much difficulties I had, but I'm glad they're still talking to us. So that she was telling me the other day. So, this is one example. So I would say, in terms of the benefits and return on investment, as I said, it's an add-on responsibility for me. It's not like a big EU project. However, the return on investment, for example, every £1 Brunel has spent as cash, we have raised 4.47 as cash. And for business, every £1 Brunel has spent for business from Hive, businesses have got over £23. So that is from the last 2 cohorts. And then we know Innovative UK success rate, 5 to 7%, we all know that. But those who have been part of this journey with us, they have 68% chance of winning Innovative UK application, provided they submit Innovative UK applications. So that is a good number for us to, of course, other benefits, graduate placements. At least 6 companies might have placed our graduates, and then the wider impact. Consultancies, one or 2 small consultancies, so profile building for us. Like we have a RHYME LinkedIn page. We're almost hitting 1,000 followers within 1 year. So, so lots of public profile building process also happens. Are there challenges? Yes, of course. Yes, I'm saying all the good things here. Like lots of business would ask us, can you write the innovative application for us? We would say, no, thank you. Oh, can we use your free lab for free testing? So, no, thank you. It's expensive to run the labs and facilities. So things like that. Again, how to continue to strengthen the skills and capacity and resources for both sides, from university side and also from the business side. And then, responding to the needs of the businesses. We know different priorities come and go. So it's a challenge. So there are challenges for us. So, yeah. So it's have a warning that I will be finishing there. So, now for the future, what we learned from this evaluation is there is some engagement happening in the university. But because this is a new initiative, we need to involve more. How can we involve student innovation team members or others doing other engagement as well to identify the right businesses? So the challenge for us still is going reasonably well. Getting the right business is not easy for us. So we need to have more university-wide engagement. And as I'll also say, additional capacity to have some sort of a light touch stewardship for the RIME alumni members, like 75 businesses now. So the evaluation, what we found was we need to be connected with Brunel again. Invite us for something else. So give us new ideas to get further funding. So things like that. And then for the vision for the future. So what we are trying to see, how we can provide further follow-on support. Then how to put in place a more structured type of RIME alumni program to continue the engagement. And also we are looking into, could we think of a regional approach in terms of helping businesses to get further innovation funding? So these are the future priorities we have got in mind. So as you see, this is the cohort, the final cohort here that attended our program. You also find some investors. There is Innovate UK was there, but they're not in this photo. One or two VCs. They're an angel investor, so we brought them all together to do a pitching with this businesses. So, yeah, so thank you. So in conclusion, as I was trying to share a journey of how Brunel University, we are helping. I know lots of you here have got other fantastic programs. So our initiative also, how we can continue to help these businesses to engage with Brunel and our experts on a long-term basis. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. So that was example number 1, and we're going to move directly on to example number 2. Our thinking is that we're going to park questions until the end, but keep them in mind so that we get a good discussion going afterwards. Thank you.
So I'm Michael Kohn from University of Surrey, and I've changed the title of my talk because I'm staying at the Boulevard Hotel, and if you're staying at the Big Blue, you'll have this view out of your window as well. This talks about, should we enhance or rethink? Now, my work at the University of Surrey, I'm an innovation advisor, and I'm really pushing for the rethink, and I'll tell you why. Maybe this will stimulate. By the way, quick show of hands. Who works directly with business in this room already? Who designs business programs, business engagement programs? How many designers we got? Great. So there's a bit of, for both of these types, for both of you in here. So I'm a bit weird. I have 9 different perspectives of university. I think most of us have 2 or 3. But I started my life, my first job was for an estates department at the University of Cambridge. I became an architect. I studied architecture, which means I've been to 3 universities just to qualify as an architect. That's the University of Cambridge, where I was a project architect of that building, Centre of Maths and Geometry, where Stephen Hawking works. The most significant perspective that I've listed here is the fact that I am a CRD business collaborator. I've run startups that, for whatever reason, I've sought out universities. I've actually actively thought, which universities can I work with? I've been an academic. I've taught as a senior lecturer for 6 years. I've done employability. I've taught architects about construction contracts. So I kind of understand the them and us culture between academics and professional services, but from the academic side, then going into professional services. I've been a tech startup, I've gone into VR. I actually went back from being an architect to learn about generative AI and try and get the computer to draw buildings, which didn't work. Maybe it will happen in the next decade. And I currently have a one-day-a-week startup, which is trying to grow the choir economy. If there are any biz dev people in the room who know your music department, please do connect me, because we have quite a research, innovative business looking to collaborate. So what I now do 4 days a week for the University of Surrey is focus on working with businesses to try and help them win money, because I know that startups need money more than anything. I try and get these good businesses to be able to pass them on to the KTP team, to Dan Bantz at Surrey. But it's easy to engage when you can actually show you understand the business and you're trying to help them get some cash through the door. I'm an innovation advisor. I don't actually exist on the university's current organogram because I'm funded through Hive contract. I was funded through the Set Squared scale-up program, but fundamentally, this is the organogram I've made for myself, which shows on the left-hand side, I'm interfacing with business ecosystems, and there's many of them. I reckon I've got access to 2,000, although I don't have a CRM of 2,000 businesses, which are, we have relationships with, so not cold contacts. And on the right-hand side, we have 3 faculties and different faculty research and innovation offices, and the institutes. So I'm basically a salesperson. I'm selling to businesses the opportunity, I'm selling to academics the opportunity to collaborate. The scale-up program you may have heard of, you may have seen it over the last 5 years presented, but it was £5 million investment. It had 5 universities plus Cardiff who were outside the Research England funding. I'm not going to sell all the numbers. We did some good numbers. I think 713 million was recorded in the audit. 15 million funding for our academics. For Surrey, we probably came last, to be honest, out of the group. But in my year, I pulled in over 1.2 million for our academics. So there's a clear ROI for having a role which is directly working with business to help them win funding. And how it works, everyone know what a funnel is? You've got pipelines. Do you talk about funnels in your job? So I'm going to tell you, don't think about funnels, think about flywheels. But here's the architecture of Set Squared. It is sort of interesting in that you win this money to build a program, you run marketing campaigns, you get the leads coming in, and then they drop out, and they distribute to the different partnering universities. And so there's 6 innovation advisors converting those opportunities and trying to help those businesses collaborate with academics and help the academics find the businesses. The thing I've learned over 2 years, the missing piece and the most important piece for anybody who's working with business in this way, and potentially for those business development people who want to see sight of businesses who academics are working with and they never see. And I haven't solved this, but I tell you, this I believe is the answer. It's business qualification. So Michael mentioned his qualification method in terms of needing to have 100K. Scale-up didn't have the need to have investment or customers. It may have done so at the beginning, it certainly didn't at the end. But these are the types of questions that you need to ask. You won't find them all on Companies House or Bauhaus, certainly not for early stage companies. You need to get in front of those businesses, and how do you do it if the academics have the relationship and they're not sharing it? So this is a question I'm working on, but I really do believe if there was a way to get business qualification as a gateway recognized, our ecosystems are going to explode, become massive and valuable, and you measure the potential value in an ethosystem, that's where you actually have the, you can then start to predict growth. My own mindset ethos is be customer-centric. The business customer's interests at the heart. I can do this because of my background. I really feel for some of the small businesses that are in front of us and try and get in front of them. I have to get permission from the academics to do so, but I've got a system of introduction. So I get in front of the business and I'm trying to do BQ in a very polite way. Sometimes you meet businesses who You know, they really are. They're going for £1 million. They have no money in the bank. They're not going to be able to match fund Innovate UK's. It's a complete waste of time. We need to help them rethink what they can go for. Understand their target customer, so businesses, who's their customer. If they don't know, then there's a whole load of other work, and you qualify them in a different way. Understand their roadmap. Where are they going? Because it's just me in this role, I have to really start scoring and be quite, you know, I need a judging criteria, which I have. It's not very, it's a little bit paper-based, but I'm scoring the opportunities that I can help to work on. And things like alignment with R&I goals. You know, what's our academics doing? Is this a good business for, good fit for Surrey, not just an ad hoc one? And I do dig in. I work with the team. I work late. I work weekends towards these deadlines on Wednesday if I have to. I'm still measuring my time. I'm not underselling myself to Surrey, but it's just trying to align myself with the business and keeping the academic in the loop and helping the academic, who frankly has a lot of teaching to do. So they welcome my support when they're you know, and I also protect my academics because sometimes the businesses want them to do stuff they shouldn't be doing. It's a business-led bid after all. Timely comms, regular check-ins. I have several businesses who welcome the support, won money. They come back to me, send me messages and updates. I often recommend where Surrey's not the best fit, go and talk to this person, go talk to this person. I'm building their trust, and often have to say no. And you know, that's the honesty of it, which is valued. We built a toolkit, so it's about how do we get competitive bids going in. I hate to see our costing team work on complete no hope applications. It's a complete waste of time and resources. We're all strapped for time. So it's trying to build a kit which the businesses use, which I'm now working more to how do I make this work for my academic colleagues so we can get this knowledge out. But it's things like the designing good projects, not just running 2 weeks before the deadline and trying to put something in. Building competitive appendix templates, easy wins, you know, things where you can easily score 8 or 9 if you follow the process, because you're going to be having to compete in other questions which are a bit harder. We've just been doing interview panels, mock panels for a very large project that has a panel tomorrow. So it's thinking, how do we streamline the service to support those bids? And then when it works, so here's one of those leads, comes into the funnel, gets qualified. We actually went for a fast start, easy money, lots of winners. So it's reviewing the competitiveness of each bid. 20K for the university, don't make any money from it, but we've got the relationship. Converting that into a collaborative bid, 1.6 million CRD, 371 for University of Surrey. Fantastic. Hopefully they're expressing interest to take that to KTP and have the long-lasting relationship. When I start putting in all, what are the other things that we could be doing? Just one relationship brings so much more if you can connect it. I'm not saying I have, we don't. This is what I'm working on. How can we connect that relationship to create that type of impact? I look at how we operate, and I think there are problems. We look at our data, and we have a lot of great data in terms of successes and the KPIs. But frankly, if we're honest with ourselves, every fund like this program, Scale Up, it's stopped, we finished, we've delivered, but there's no momentum now. We're looking for the next fund. And so affordability, adoptability, resilience, people leave. How does an institution protect itself from that? That's the hotel window. That's kind of how I think of our industry. I used to say, oh, I understand you as an SME, it's a startup, I've got a startup, it's a roller coaster ride. And everyone nods and they think, okay, great, let's work with Michael, this is fine. But actually I think the roller coaster ride is ours. We're going from funding to funding to funding, and yet the potential of our ecosystems is massive if we can get it aligned. So if you are aware of the funnels, you may be aware of flywheels. It was Jim Collins' book, From Good to Great, who talks about the tech companies that don't use funnels. They think in flywheels. They think in customer experience. This is what I think we do in terms of funding programs, and this is what I think we should be doing. And that means when you win your funding, you should be investing in the architecture of your program, which is also the business model beyond the funding. So how does this keep going and growing, and how does it actually tap into everything else? And it does mean you need the volume, and you do need to design some low touch, low cost of customer acquisition costs. So yes, I guess I come from the world which is working in digital and internet, and there's a lot of lessons from the tech startups that we support of how to grow companies. So how can we grow R&I services? Flywheels definitely have a lot more to teach us than funnels. Looking at the change, collaboration accounts is an idea. I'm very interested to talk to anybody who's interested in what I've been talking about and whether there is a project. I have no funding in mind. I want to get the idea right, collaborate with institutions, then we can go for the funding. Thank you, Shona, for the reminder. If you want to get off the roller coaster and climb the tower, talk to me afterwards.
Thank you both. So we're going to move on to, as I said, the less prepared element. We do have a mentee to hopefully get some energy going, get some ideas flowing. So I'm going to be running through the mentee questions that Michael have prepared, so that they are able to respond to the data as it emerges, or that's the idea. So if I just give you all a moment to scan the QR code, if we get a few thumbs up.
Can I just apologise? We've only got 44 places because I'm a cheapskate and haven't paid Menti for the pro version. So the first 44 get to do it. If it's more popular, I'm very sorry, but we can run it again online.
If you're with a colleague, maybe you could double up. I have no sense of, I'm not very good at estimating numbers. We've definitely got more than 44. But you'll be able to see data coming up. You can interact anyway, and then we've got plenty of time afterwards for discussion. Are we ready to go ahead? A few people managed to get on the Menti? Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so this is a bit of data gathering just to get us started, which reminds me to mention that we're going to be trying to respond live to some of the data that you provide, but Michael will be doing a bit more of an analysis just to get a bit of a sense of what we get. Great. It's definitely working. I hope you haven't inadvertently put in your credit card number and your costs are ramping up. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so next question again, sort of just getting a sense of who we've got in the room, and Michael sort of started this, but what sort of role do you do within your institution? Great, that's, I guess, what we're expecting. Great, I think that's everyone. Wonderful. Okay, so now's where you need to start thinking a little bit more. So what 3 words come to mind when you think about the programs that you might have within your institution for to stimulate business university collaboration? Let's see what we got here. It's a real mixture of positive and negative in there. Let's just say that as an initial observation. Now, would you two like to pause on this and discuss this, because there's some quite interesting things coming out there.
Yeah. If I see from here, I mean, the common themes, also the themes that are standing out, I mean, the impact coming out quite clearly there. Also, the complexity of that relationship, so as we see in our work, it's very much also reflected there. So, and also on the positive side, I mean, again, impact and rewarding, so yes, always, sometimes colleagues ask us, because academics also asks us, you have to navigate through this, isn't it? So that positive side, all of us, the rewarding side there. Anything else?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, the things that I hone in on, siloed, there was another one which is unconnected. And I think, because I'm somebody who thinks about processes and waste and innovation, fundamentally it's about innovation. How do you remove waste? And siloed is a word that is common to universities, inside universities, outside universities. But in the context of our discipline, we've got to understand that is, it's costing us money. And so, yeah, so siloed was another one. Time consuming is about, well, I think some things are going to take time, but it's working out which things do you need to focus on.
I think a few things that are standing out for me are messy, stifled, low value. That's concern. So these are potentially some things that we might want to pick up in discussion afterwards, because these are things that we want to do something about.
Yeah.
And this is where we've got real opportunity, I think, to share ideas, because I think frustrating is in there somewhere as well. So there's people who want to see change. So examples of how others have potentially addressed some of those challenges would be really, really good to air as we go through.
Oh, is it me? Sorry. Next.
Okay, so what support mechanisms do you deploy within your institutions to identify and engage with best fit businesses? So how do you target, how do you focus?
This was the one we thought might be a hard question.
Yeah.
So examples we were thinking of were
innovation vouchers, engaging with economic development people in councils, anything like that.
Going out for exhibitions or expos. We said how easy the website or the engagement website or portal of the university for businesses or external parties to access. Oh, yeah.
Shona, just one thing. I'm writing a brief at the moment for something called Commercialization Fellows. I don't know if other people have that. Something to do with the innovation impact accounts. And so basically helping academics, maybe early career researchers, to understand commercialization. We're trying to bring them into the R&I function to do a little bit of innovation on our support mechanisms. So it's bringing an extra resource from within the paid resource of the university.
I was wondering where the rest of the answers were.
Yes.
Shona, can I just say on the working with industry bodies and membership organisations, little quick tip for anybody who's advising businesses on designing projects to win. If they haven't looked at the industry that they're working in and reached out to industry organisations, can't guarantee it, but it's definitely an opportunity, and some of them will join your teams. And pow, you've got a fantastic team appendix. It's a really good trick to look at. Think big, think change in that industry.
Innovation Lab sounds interesting. Is that like a sandpit type of approach? Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone didn't hear that, that's getting researchers and businesses together in a room, challenge-led type of approaches. Yeah.
We
Great.
good?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on there. Again, think about what's stood out for you, perhaps what you're not doing that sounds interesting. We can pick that up in conversation at the end. Okay, so this one's a ranking approach, which we're told some people don't like doing. I quite like a bit of ranking myself. So asking you here to rank the outcomes of your business engagement, the mechanisms by which you'd want to work with businesses that you engage. And just do gut feel, because it can differ for, in time and depending on what program you're working on, etc. But
And value doesn't necessarily mean money. Social value could be a thing, could be just relationship numbers.
what's the output of this one? Does it come up with a
It will
graph
come
or
up with a
something?
rank. Here we go.
Oh,
Other, which means that the Michael and Michael don't know what they're talking about because we didn't ask the right questions. If other's top. Oh, thank you. You've saved us.
I was about to be horrified there as KTP was at the bottom. I might have had to leave the room.
I personally find the one I'm so poor at helping is when academics learn about what I do and they reach out to me and say, oh, I need some letters of support for my very important research. And their research is like a gazillion times larger than the business funds that we've been working on. So it's really important work, but it's hard to start cold because we have these siloed ecosystems. Wouldn't it be nice if we had the 2,000 businesses I know we have relationships with, if I could access them and then train the academic? This is how you write a polite sequence of emails to get the right people in the room and not waste other people's time that you don't need to waste their time. And that would make our research-led bids more competitive and our research income, therefore, grow.
So we're still seeing a little bit of shuffling. It's just about calming down now, I think. The key message is everything there is valuable.
We did well on the other.
Yes, and on the first one, I can see everybody is competing with their business partner. There's also competition out there, because we know the nature of our business as well.
And it's funny that that's the number one in this room, and yet there was another comment which was saying, it's low value, which I personally feel. I feel sometimes that when I look at our income from collaborative R&D, it's tiny compared to research. Of course, the research matters, and the business thing comes second. But it's it's how do you flip that so that people realise the long-term ecosystem value. These are statements to agree with or disagree with. You'll be opening a bank.
Thanks for the reminder. I was just trying to remember what
You'll
this
be opening a bank account after this.
So this is thinking about your situation. So in your situation, to what extent do these statements hold true?
I think the dynamic of this is that the first answers come up strong, and then it drops down as people they ask more questions of themselves.
But we're seeing the trend. That's what the curve is behind, is it? Yeah. Okay.
It's the distribution, I think, the distribution curve. The positive spin on this is that there's all of those numbers of improvement possible. It's very positive.
You're clearly a glass half full person.
I work in innovation, Shona. I'm always positive. Oh, sorry. Did everyone finish that? I've moved on.
Okay. So I don't know what number we're on now. 8? Something
We're
like
near
that?
the end.
So how well do your engagement tools and processes perform for you? So in terms of maintaining the quality and quantity of the business relationships that you have. So we've got from everything working well, some areas working well, right down to we don't know how well any of it's working. Okay. Because we don't measure. because you don't know where opportunities originally stem from, perhaps?
Well, you might not have access to the data.
Yeah.
If you asked some of my colleagues in Surrey, they wouldn't necessarily know what our current hit rate is, for instance.
But it also shows, because there are different parts of the university do business engagement, isn't it? So, and in terms of how do we evidence the impact of that different parts of the university business engagement as measures and outcomes? I'm not sure, is there a clear-cut answer for every university present here? So from my own experience, I can say, sadly, no, there is room for improvement. So again, we could also see some of those reflections, from the group coming here as well.
But what's interesting, the without funding, not able to address, there's no one that's answering that. It's not hopeless. There's always things that can be done, even small wins. Shall we move?
I was just thinking that just as a reminder for things to pick up in discussion, it'd be great to hear a little bit from the people who think that everything is working well, because that's definitely something to share. And
I think they just left, Jonah.
and the selection of people who appreciate that business engagement programs need a rethink. I possibly thought that might be higher, because I'm very conscious that sort of post the ERDF world, the bottom fell out of a lot of our programs, and we're wanting to replicate that, but not necessarily with the same types of funding available. So that's maybe lower than I expected. So you're ahead of the curve there. Let's move on. So where would further investment in skills and resources make the most difference? So again, this is to what extent do you agree or disagree with these statements? I know there's a whole very active discussion point around CRM and Praxis Oral, so interesting to see how strongly that one comes through. So pretty much everyone wants to do more, don't they, across all these aspects. I was sitting next to someone in the last session, I don't know if anyone else was in the one about AI and automation, who'd rewritten a whole website using generative AI. So that's an interesting approach if you're short of cash and need to rewrite a website. You want to pull out anything from this one?
No, I mean, these are just, it's an indication of how aligned you are with the statement, isn't it? When you invest in, I mean, I would say the fourth question is there because if you just say we need a CRM, that i.e. a piece of technology, technology don't work without the end user and people. So it makes sense that you can't just invest in one thing.
I may take the last point, the investing in professional services, staff, skills and training, especially the type of questions businesses ask us these days, and then responding to that, and practically helping. Our own experience, what we heard, like if you have only got four staff, so if they're dedicating 1 day to come to your university, one of them, so 20% of the capacity is gone that week. So they really need a return on investment of the resources and time. And if we can't provide that support or that type of, or we don't have the skill set within our team, then actually we are not able to meet the needs of the businesses. So that always come. Businesses have asked me, sorry, Michael, we won't benefit coming to your university, though we know you are world leading in X or Y. So again, that's something to look into.
We'll move on. Yeah. Okay, and then we come to ideas, and this may come out more in discussion, but if anyone wants to begin to think about what ideas you have to rethink programmes, we saw on the last but one that need refresh, so what sort of changes could be implemented to build up your business engagement ecosystems?
And all the answers will be shared for anybody who asks for them, so although they're anonymous.
Yeah.
Might help some collaborations form.
Yeah, I like some of these things coming through, like looking at the customer journey rather than individual interactions.
If we scroll, we might see some more.
Yeah, organising yourselves in a way that's relevant to the outside world, giving yourself job titles that mean something out there.
The one is but qualify the business before investing too much time. So I'm sharing our business checklist with the Set Squared Innovation Advisor, so my colleagues in the 5 different universities. And maybe I'm hoping we'll be able to publish a sort of best practice piece so we share it more widely. But I think that, for me, that's a simple win. If the universities do it, it will unlock a lot of value.
Yes, somebody has mentioned here Confer. I don't know if anybody from Confer is here in CUB. So I say we have benefited from putting things on Confer, and then response coming to you. Oh yeah, we would like to work with you, or also responding to Confer's post as well.
I love the fact someone's pitched out acronyms. That's my pet hate, the fact that every programme has an acronym, which is so horribly contrived.
What's that?
Okay, well, we're not short of ideas, that's for sure.
Right.
Excellent.
There we go.
So lots of thinking there. Useful, what you were expecting, what you're
Great,
hoping
thank
for.
you. Fantastic. Anybody, so I'll go for this, but anybody who wants to get the copy, just email me. The email's there. I don't know if there's another way to distribute it, but I'll make sure it's anonymous. I don't think we'll be able to connect the ideas.
I
Wave
think
ask questions.
Praxis can put content on the platform after but that wouldn't target this this group. So email's probably a good idea. Right. So the remaining time that we have is for Q&A, but not just Q&A, because you don't have to ask questions. You can obviously provide ideas and pick up ideas that may have come out of the Menti for Conversation. But think right back to the beginning of the session as well. If you've got any questions, you do want to come up now onto the and become a bit of a panel. If you've got any questions about the programmes that were described, or any thoughts that have occurred to you as we went through that Menti, which is very much to get your creative juices flowing, that'd be great. And Tamsin is there with a microphone. Just right to your right, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. That was really insightful. I really did enjoy both talks. I picked up that the first Michael was not supporting bid writing. I think I heard that. So I'm thinking about a UKRI bid, say business-led collaborative R&D bid. And I noticed that Michael number 2 was talking about those appendices that go with it. They're quite complicated. And that businesses, you probably are aware, are often don't have bid writers in-house, so they do lean on the resources that we've got in the university. And my experience is that what you were talking about to help them navigate those appendices and make sure that, you know, the academic is very involved with writing the technical piece, but the benefits to the business is definitely sort of supported. It's useful to support the business to tick the boxes there in the same way that the KTP advisors help tick the boxes for a KTP application. So I'm just wondering, did I pick that up right? That there's different approaches, and some people are helping with bids, and some people are not hands-on on the bids that are led by businesses into UKRI. And the reason I'm raising it is that I do think supporting them is a good idea, but it's a resource that many institutions don't have. And as a sector, I'm wondering, that means that if you, depending on which university you go to, you might not get the professional services help. You might get it in one place and not another. So just to try and open up that discussion.
Yeah, do you want to answer that?
Thank you. Great question. I'm sorry if I was not clear in my presentation. It is all around Innovate UK funding applications. They're the workshops we organize. So when each workshop they finish, we give them a homework. Like for example, 2-3 questions of Innovate UK funding application. You know, the innovation, the impact, you know, things like that. And then they have to complete and send this to us. And also we specify what R&D support you need from university as well, potentially. Then we review, we give feedback. So they actually do that homework. Not all of them, I would say. The concept note, at least 70% of them do. But then further elaboration, I would say maybe around 25 to 30% do from each cohort. And we give feedback that the technology management consultant who works with me and I or other business development managers, we give feedback on that.
So what you meant is you don't write the first draft. They must write it, which
they
is
must
very
write,
good practice.
but we guide them with in the workshop. Yeah.
Is there also a distinction there between, because I think what I picked up from your presentation is that some of the bids which come from your cohort involve Brunel as a partner and some don't?
Correct.
So where Brunel is a partner, you would be more involved in bid writing, I assume?
Yes, where Brunel is a partner, of course we have to write certain sections for Innovate UK, as we know, and then we also read through and then give more inputs there. Yeah. But during the program, we may not know a call is already out there, but they would be still writing. Yeah. And also where we are not a partner recently, we still have reviewed their bids because they come back to us because of the alumni relationship. You know, we say, oh, we are not, sorry, we only ask getting £100,000. We can't put an academic as a COI, but would you review this for us? You know, so we do still give some interview inputs.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas I talk to businesses and advise them that they should be, if they're not able to write their bid, then they're not ready anyway. But I do get involved with bid writing. There was a little matrix of 6 numbers, 1 to 6. I score the opportunities. At the moment, well, during Scale Up, where we were funded, we were helping any Scale Up member. So if the funnel was working and there was businesses coming through and they found the university one of 6, we would help them at whatever stage they're at. And they could apply for money for bid writers to support them. So in that program, there was a bid writing fund. I did a lot of work with Granted Consultancy, who also co-authored the business collaboration toolkit that I developed for Surrey. I think I spend time with academics saying, stop, if an academic is writing the project management plan, something's wrong, because that business is leading everything and they're not running their own program. Something's wrong there. So there's a little bit of that to academics. There's a bit of coaching the businesses, and they do, like you. We have businesses saying, "Oh, Michael, can you help me on this bid? Oh, we promise we'll collaborate with you next time." But
I do think what we've heard is something that there's quite a differentiation between different institutions in terms of the amount of support that's available and the amount of skill that exists in-house. So it's certainly an interesting one too.
I also wanted to say there's another thing in the business qualification which is to do with how ready you are to write a bid and resource it. So if you're just coming and you're hoping that we're going to do all the work and you're not putting the effort in, we're a 30% partner of your project, usually 30, 50 sometimes. So part of qualification is not to do with how much money they've got in the bank, but also to how much they want it.
Capacity.
There is a document that UKRI publish, a document which is a guide to applicants, and it tells any experienced bid writer how to write a successful bid. And I don't know if it's up front on the website anymore, but it's something we might want to dig out, but it does exist, and it's really spelling it out, and it takes you through every single section and how to write it. So find that if you're doing any UKRI bids. That'd be...
There, I think Jason at the back, and there was another one on this side as well.
Hi, Jason Edwards, University of Bath. I kind of just want to talk about university sustainability and disconnect with industry as well, especially between startups and smaller end of industry. Of, say you got a small company come to you and go, I got 10, 20k budget to engage university. In my head, I'm like, good luck. With the rising cost of universities, FECs, which are going up above inflation, and you're there going like, well, we all have demands to grow our income. It's a very difficult environment. So it's different across sectors. So you might go engineering, you might be all right. Then you might go down the route of social sciences, and money's less about. I sometimes find the environment that's being created with having to bring more money in, where costs are going up, we want to make profit, but the environment is becoming more and more challenging. So I'd be interested if anyone's got any thoughts around that.
Okay, so I guess just to precede that, it's around how to assess value and what's the smallest unit of activity that is actually worthwhile. Okay, I can think of some answers, but I'll let you.
Jason, that's a fantastic question. I don't have the answer immediately, I would say. However, that return on investment question is asked internally, when we are doing some partnerships with businesses. What I can say, like most universities here, innovation voucher, support we provide. It's highly subsidized. As I work in consulting sector before, I used to say a professor's time in a partner in PwC or management consultancy firms, how much they would charge you. So, whereas highly subsidized. So, yes, coming into sustainability part, do we have the right pricing model? Sadly, we know our experience. We may not always. But then we are also a public sector organization in that sense, funded by taxpayers to a great extent. So where do we draw the line? I have no answer. I'm sure lots of us may have other insights here.
Was the sustainability commercial sustainability? I didn't, because you also said environment. But
well, like from our costing model,
okay.
Like 100% FEC is generally like where you'd like to start way above that, and you bring it down to that, and then you think about, well, there's Subsidy Control Act, all these sort of policies that are coming into it now as well, and it's then you've got a decision to make of, we might have a client, we think this relationship's going to grow, and you might be more flexible in your funding model, and it's just around. I understand it from a UKRI's perspective, that in a sense of, if our FEC is higher, we can claim back more, like because of where the indirect rate and stuff is like that. When we look at our industry partners, and I've had quotes when I've given them, and they've just jaws hit the floor, and then I'm like, right, let's justify this to the maximum.
When you say quotes, are you talking about consultancy or collaboration contracts?
This would be direct contract research.
Research contract. Yeah. Okay.
But same with consultancy. So at Bath, we do 1.5 to 2 FEC minimum.
And so I'm a big fan of in the innovation space and the SME. I've measured 8 different types of SMEs from your micro, including spin-outs or a persona type in my evaluation. I'm a big fan of consultancy. I think that small micro consultancy, where a school, for instance, has really baked a product that is of value to business, that they can resource it amongst multiple academics because it's a kind of quick win, and it's a way to get foot in the door and build a relationship. And so every single business going for Innovate UK could approach a university, no IP worries at all, and say, we would like this little bit of work done looking at our innovation, this report put in, and there is actually a category in the costing, which is not subcontract, where a university could provide a technical or market assessment report. I'm talking to the business school at Surrey. I'd love them to get more of these in, because every business I see, they need some expertise that our School of Business has someone that can help. I'm talking to the Institute of People-Centered AI in the same way. Every AI business I see, we're a trusted partner, we could help them. And again, it's this point about how do you build a mega team answer where you're going to score 9.2 out of 10. You can't just do it if you're the solopreneur in your garage. You've got to think much more collaboratively. And the universities have such a great product to sell to business if they can align themselves with what matters to business and create that shop window. And I think that's where we struggle a little bit. I'm still working on that from our side.
There were a huge amount of nods there when you mentioned about the customer's jaw dropping when you show them the cost. Obviously, part of that is sharing the value as well, and selling ourselves short isn't sustainable either, because the next time they come to you, you can't keep discounting. So we need to get them to appreciate the value and obviously exploit grant funding mechanisms wherever possible.
Shona, sorry, can I just come back on that one thing? Because you were talking about the bigger costs. Of course, I want to get PDRAs in on collaborative projects and contract research. I can't do that with a cold customer. First, well, I can probably with a few, but that's a really dumb approach. I need to build the relationship and have the big picture and be patient to grow the ecosystem. We've got more partners from building small relationships to collaborative relationships. Suddenly we've got 3 more business partners we never knew because the business brought them in. It's a small wins lead to big wins.
We'll move on because we've got another question at the front here.
Hi, Dermot Leonard from Queen's Belfast. Thank you for the talks. It's interesting. The design that we have done is probably the polar opposite of this. We have designed very much from the academic first point of view, and the reason for that is kind of, to me, one of the golden rules is never ever overpromise and underdeliver. And I noticed in the kind of designs you've done, you're very focused on the business. There's almost an assumption that if the business is ready, there will be an academic who wants to work with them. And that's not always the case. The worst experiences I've ever had in my K career have been getting a business ready, getting them excited, and then the academic groups say, actually, we don't want to do that. And it's very damaging from a reputational point of view and from that company's point of view. Is that a challenge you've experienced, or how do you deal with that?
So in the squared scale up, where all 6 universities were working together, there were sector leads looking at that biz dev customer development of the businesses, then feeding them on to one of 6 or 2 of 6 universities. There's some competitive tension to get for the academics, for the innovation advisors, people like me, to move fast to find a good fit academic. But that's businesses coming in through a funnel, and then everyone's finding academic. What I'm now doing more of is I'm responding to academic relationships. The academics are the salespeople. They are bringing them to me for my support to help them help the businesses. And it's so I think our systems have to work both ways, because where are the businesses coming from? It's business-centered in that my work is around business-led innovation. It's not about academics getting more research income. It's about academics using their skills to work on business problems to have more impact. And yes, they'll get paid 80% of their FEC.
So actually, I noticed that some of the points that came through in the Menti played to your point. It's like understand what we're good at and share that. And I think, Michael, your programme is more specific to medtech, isn't it? So that's already identifying a...
No, so we are sector agnostic. Though I have a portfolio, but those who come for that RHINE program I mentioned, every sector. So mostly we say 5 sectors. The sector agnostic. So yeah, in any sector. Okay. But we also face the challenges sometimes academics don't want to work with. So from one of the businesses we had a experience where we did all the groundwork, but then academic group suddenly didn't want to take that further. So it had some we had to manage that challenge.
So the thematic programmes can offer advantages, can't they? I think we've probably just got time for one, possibly two more questions. There was one over here, I think. Thank you.
Hi, Aisha, Imperial College. So I had a question about your RIME program. I noticed that you had 75 companies in the UK and 10 from India. So how did you promote your program and how did you maintain that engagement as well?
Yes, we had a total now 75, each cohort 25 from the UK. So, as I mentioned earlier, getting the businesses is not easy. So we experimented this in India with an Indian university partner, but we put the threshold very high. We said that you should have minimum £500,000 turnover to join the RIME India program, because of the advantage it has. So reaching out, I do get some support from my research assistant and as well as other business development managers who would make connections when we go for an external event, for example. We would also say, are you looking for innovation funding? Have you applied for Innovate UK? So people would say, yes, but it's hard work. We never, so it's a good way of starting the conversation sometimes. So that's one part, I would say. And then
just to clarify, so that you had an Indian university and you were both supporting the businesses?
Yes, Indian university partner. We only experimented once, but we decided not to pursue further because overall experience, I would say, it was good, but then, however, lots of opportunity cost for us, and the return on investment, not very sure. So because of that, we are not planning anything in India immediately. So yes, the Indian university partner identified some businesses. So we suggested, that if they want to work with Indian university, this particular partner or other partners they could work with, but UK-India collaborative plans, we would say, if you're looking for expertise from the UK, they may have a business that is interested in this sector, or Brunel experts could support, and also they were keen for the route to market, UK-India, India-UK route to market. So that we also started that discussions in
There's specific calls, weren't there, for UK India collaboration?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that stewardship, that alumni relationship, it's not easy now because we have built up the 75 businesses pipeline. So there's some internal discussions happening how there could be some support or capacity to take that forward.
And maybe, sorry, just following up on this question, are you led by what you're good at? Do you say, okay, I'm good at oncology, I'm going to focus on all the oncology companies, or do you just, go general?
Thank you, Aisha. Initially, general. As we said, we have 5 sectors where Brunel would say we are reasonably good, manufacturing or AI, etc., healthcare, medtech. So the companies, when they come, they would say, this is our innovation challenge, in the application they would say. So based on that, we'll also identify if an academic group may be interested to support them. So, and there are cases where we are not able to offer them the support as well. So we don't always say they should always work with Brunel. We also say, it's up to you. You could work with someone else. And we have experiences where businesses are working with other university partners.
Right, we have 10 minutes now to move on to the final plenary session. So I'd like to thank the Michaels for their contributions. But very much thank you all for your participation. And hopefully the report that Michael will distribute to anyone who's interested will give you a little bit of food for thought. But thanks very much for joining the session.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Shona.